right, it's the finale.
Woohoo!
There will be another season, right? We know that, or we think
Yes,
that at least,
it is
or spin-off?
confirmed. Season 3 of The Boys.
Okay.
So
The overall, nice surprise, but there was definitely some parts in there. I'm like, this is just hurried to wrap this a scene that's needed just to wrap something up.
yeah,
Which, there was a couple times where I'm like, let's just move it along. I get it.
Yeah. And a couple of scenes where things happened that were very super convenient, just to tie up loose ends and to save the day. But
yes, and some things that I'll comment on as the thing goes on, that where I'm like, and I have to understand that it is a kind of a spoof type thing.
And there's one scene in this finale that is bothering me to no end. It's a very small, quick cut, but we'll get to it in a little bit.
All right, let's get it started.
Yeah, let's get it going here. We start out our episode with a PSA for superhero terrorists. It's very odd. It's a sheriff from local area, New York,
area.
PS, somewhere.
School.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. He's with Homelander, and they are breaking down the law, which is lock all doors and windows, and also apparently
arm yourself
now. Yeah, arm yourself. My favorite scene in this little thing is the kid that picks up the 3-hole punch, and all the little dots fall out on the floor.
Yeah.
But
it's just a scene to show that once you get fired up people into fear, you can use it in any way you want to use it.
Right.
So he's arming the teachers and
mirroring real life where, because of school gun violence, we have talked, people have talked about arming teachers with guns.
Yeah. And there's always an acronym that's used to make it easy.
Yeah.
And this one, it's law, and then wait for a superhero to arrive.
And then there's this cheesy look at each other. So we go to the next scene, which is the Secretary of Defense. He's in his office, and he's talking to Agent Mallory and the Congresswoman. And he's getting ready to go to the funeral of all of the Congress people who were killed in the attack in last episode where their heads exploded. He's very upset. He can't find his American flag tie pin. So he keeps yelling at his assistant, like, where's my pin? Where's my pin? They're basically, he explains the president's going ahead. He's called the Crimson Level alert, and he's going ahead with manufacturing of Compound V. It's going for $5 million a pop, which is crazy. He says United States military's in line, and then ICE, which is the terrorist group, they are next in line to get it. So the whole country's freaking out, basically.
Yeah, and of course, we mentioned before, I think, is that the Congress, Victoria Newman, is an AOC person, spoof or whatever.
Yes, satire of AOC.
The line in there is unless Jesus or Homelander testifies that like they're equal footing.
Yeah, and for the record, the Secretary of Defense, Bob, is on the side of Mallory and the Congresswoman, but he's got to do. Yeah, he's got to toe the line and follow what the president wants to do. So,
and they need someone to testify. Otherwise,
it's over. Now, they tried to do it legally, and so now it's just about we got to arm ourselves to fight super terrorists. Full steam ahead with that. We skip to the next scene where we see Becca, Butcher's wife, running through the woods.
This is bothersome.
Yeah, apparently she escaped Vought, and they're all looking for her.
How?
Yes.
They just got done saying that she's in a fake neighborhood, a fake town, a fake this, a fake that, and yet they don't keep track of her or the boy. I mean, I guess they can keep track of the boy eventually, but she just could escape all the that is and not only escapes there, but gets all the way eventually to what we assume is Manhattan or somewhere like that.
Yeah, Flatbush or wherever.
Yeah.
Well, we do know that she is able to come and go because she was able to sneak away and meet up with Butcher a few episodes ago,
which we found ridiculous though too.
Yeah, we found that ridiculous. But maybe I don't know. At
Maybe
this
she
point,
negotiated that deal.
Yeah,
even that. Let's say she can come as go as she pleases. Is she outrunning them, or is she?
Right,
Especially
exactly. They've
all
got
things considered,
an entire military SWAT force, trailing her, and she's able to escape her confines.
With
and
ease.
then,
because remember, but Butcher to leave, he had to climb a big wall. I mean, to get in, he had to climb a wall.
Yeah.
So
I get once again, suspending your disbelief there. So she remembers that Butcher said he's staying underneath a pawn shop in Flatbush. So she's making her way to Flatbush to find Butcher because she's just hysterical that Homelander's taken her son. So we cut to Flatbush outside, and Starlight's talking to her mom. She's telling her mom, go get somewhere safe. It's not safe
don't
here
call
for
anybody,
you. Here's your plan. The mom gives her the cross necklace that later we find out Starlight thinks she just bought at some drugstore in New York.
Which is like a CVS,
yeah.
But I still don't really get the scene, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it wasn't necessary, but we go back inside, and Frenchie and Mother's Milk, they've got a plan. They've built some sort of RPG, and they've got epinephrine to kill what's his name? A-Train.
A-Train, yeah.
Yeah, give him a
heart attack. They're going to take all the soups down.
Yeah, they're coming up with their elaborate plan and going back and forth as they always do. And Huey is saying, hey, we don't need to resort to violence. And then Starlight comes up with an idea. Hey, give me the day. If I can go and convince Brave Maeve to testify, maybe we can still do this the legal way.
Well, she didn't tell you who she's going after, but that's who she ends up going
to. Yeah, she ends up going there. So she's got the day to try and convince Maeve, who, somehow has become the key to all of this. But we'll get to that later. We're back in the tower, and Homelander is watching all the news that's unfolding, the attack and how the ramifications of that. And Stormfront comes in, gives us an update on Black Noir, who is a vegetable. And basically, Homelander's going over the entire roster. He's like, Lamplighter's a charcoal briquette. Black Noir's a vegetable. Starlight's in the breeze. So what are we going to do? Stormfront's trying to reassure him.
He has a little doubt that it might have been Stormfront that blew everybody's heads off, and she says, "That wasn't me." So he has a little bit of a doubt there for a second.
Yeah. He
and then he thinks it's Edgar.
He still it's
Edgar.
Yeah. Then he jumps to Edgar, but the key scene here, or the key in the scene, is when she says, none of that matters. They're going to make the Compound V soon. We won't have to do movie premieres. We won't have to, no more fanboys and crowds. And you can see in Homelander's eyes that he's like, well, I'm kind of going to miss that stuff.
That's his favorite stuff.
Yes.
Because he's not really into the Aryan Nation thing. I mean, I don't buy that he's into it at all. He's going along because anybody who shows him love and worships him, anybody who worships him and loves him, he will. It's all narcissistic.
He craves that attention. He has to have it because he grew up with a bad childhood, and he needs love from.
It's not the cause at all. There's no cause, and there's no causes at all. Not even being good is a cause for him. Because he'll just kill a criminal. He has no cause. It's all him.
Yeah, and this is
being a superhero is not about saving people and being a superhero. It's about.
It's all about being worshipped as a god.
Exactly.
And so that makes this key foreshadowing for the end of the episode later on, which we'll get to. So we cut to Huey and Starlight driving in the car. And,
by the way, Fleetwood Mac T-shirt. I don't know what the meaning is, but
I was. I don't know if my whole T-shirt idea is maybe out the door.
I think he's just randomly picking from that decade.
Yeah, that's
or
probably
something.
True.
I don't know.
But Starlight and Huey are driving along. They're going to see Maeve, and Starlight got a question about, what's the deal with the Billy Joel stuff? You're not
They're doing only the good
57.
Die Young is playing.
Yeah. And so we find out that Huey's mother left him when he was 6. And the reason that he loves Billy Joel so much is he and his mother, before she left, used to have dance parties and listen to
We find
Billy
that out
Joel
later.
together.
In this scene, they don't get to it yet. I don't think they do it after Maeve, but it doesn't matter. The point is, I thought like she did that they were dead, right?
Yeah.
But she's not dead. She
left. She assumes that Huey's mom has been dead this whole time, and
there's also a key part in there too, because Starlight's like, Butcher's right, we got to kill them all.
Yeah.
And so Huey's the only one left.
Yeah.
That out of everybody.
They can do this legally and without any sort of violence of killing everybody. So now we're in Maeve's apartment, and Starlight and Huey are there. Huey introduces himself. Maeve doesn't care who he is. And Starlight is trying to convince Maeve that she can still testify, and we can take down Vought in Homelander. Which Maeve is very against.
I do. It might be one of my top 5 moments today in this episode. When Maeve calls him a twink and says, "I could split that bleep like dry firewood," and he just goes, "Big fan."
Yeah, big fan.
Right after she says,
and backs away slowly.
Yeah.
After he's given his hand out for a handshake, but
and she's not. And she says she's not going to help because she's tired.
Yeah, she's just tired.
Exhausted, tired of the whole thing.
Maeve's just at this point, we're supposed to just assume she's checked out and is given up on her little. She just has nowhere to go. She's kind of given up her plan on what to do with anything. So we're back at the pawn shop in Flatbush. Dude runs down to the basement and tells Butcher there's a woman here who says she's your wife. It's Becca, who shows up and gives him a big hug.
How she gets there is beyond us. But anyway.
But anyway, she's found her way back to Butcher because of him telling her back when they were doing it that he was living under a pawn shop in Flatbush. So big scene here where we have Stan Edgar and Alistair Adana, who's the head of the church, the Scientology type church. Yeah, Church of the Collective. Yeah. And so they're having a meeting, and
Fresca, of course.
Yeah. He offers Stan Edgar a Fresca, and he goes, "Don't touch the nasty stuff." Which makes me wonder: did Fresca pay to be in this show?
Yeah, because
it's
not represented well.
Right. There's a lot of anti-Fresca propaganda in here.
Yeah, there is.
So, but anyway, that's to the side. You've got Stan and Alistair. They're going back and forth, kind of doing a little negotiation on how we can get either A-Train or the Deep back in. Stan says 1 is a redemption story, 2 shows weakness. And he's basically telling Alistair, I know you're going to get a commission for all this. And we also find out a key that Shockwave, who was going to replace A-Train, was killed in the last episode. His head was exploded by whoever did it.
Whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So which is kind of key because we, I saw a super die, but you didn't know who it was. Like they showed his head exploding last episode, but you didn't know. But now you know that A-Train's replacement is dead. So we also find out that the church has a secret PDR research data. They have all this dirt on all the superheroes. And so they make a deal to get A-Train, I'm sorry, Deep back into the 7 at this
7
point.
Because because then it rolls out that
A-Train was listening right behind the door apparently, and he's because
they would show like something in the breeze. I thought there was going to be an invisible man or something. That superhero or whatever.
Yeah,
they didn't really show that previously, that he was so fast that you wouldn't even know he was there.
Yeah, well, he was just standing behind like the dumbwaiter door or whatever. Listening, and he's like, what the heck? So they do acknowledge, we do get Stan Edgar acknowledging Stormfront's racism at this point.
Yes.
And a little bit.
The collective tries to deny they know anything about it, but we find out
Yeah.
the Nazis were a big part of the beginning of their
Yes.
the beginning of the whole thing.
One of their founders, they won't confirm it, but one of their founders indeed was a part of the Nazi Party. So we move on. We're back in underneath the pawn shop, and we've got the boys just surrounding Becca, giving her a sandwich. Frenchie made her a sandwich, and Mother's Milk brought her a Diet Coke.
Yeah, like they know
lime.
everything about her or something. Very weird.
Yeah, a Diet Coke with lime, which lime will be important in the later scene. That's where I have an issue. There's a lot of mentions of lime in this episode.
And here's the thing. You want to know the Fresca thing? He told Cinema Blend who am I talking? The producer, the big G's,
the creator, showrunner,
the creator, showrunner, told Cineblend, Fresca just came from. Honestly, I wish there was a deeper thought than it just became this running joke. We were laughing because we were thinking about like, okay, what does Eagle the Archer serve him to drink? Was it alcohol? No, he's in this cult and they don't drink alcohol. What do they drink? And I don't know who said it, but someone was like, Fresca. They drink Fresca. We started laughing because for some reason it seems like the drink of cult members, which I think is going to be their new advertising slogan next year, the drink of cult members.
Yeah.
Just like something they drink. And so we just started putting it in more and more. You'll see once you see the whole season, you keep the joke rolling all season long. And it's made by Coke or Pepsi. But they didn't pay for it. It's made by Coca-Cola Company.
Okay, so they didn't pay for it. It's very amazing how much the showrunner just kind of came up with stuff off the, like we found out about Black Noir's tree nut allergy because the real actor had it. And they were joking around. So a lot of this stuff they're coming off the cuff, which is a nice little touch. So nothing deeper to the Fresca other than they just thought it would be funny. So
it's it's like a Jonestown cult drink.
Yeah, cult drink. So Butcher and Becca are talking, and Butcher promises to Becca that he will go and get her son back no matter what it takes. So he sets up a meeting with Stan Edgar. Stan's leaving.
Yeah, and they're watching some old Western.
It
like
looks
a high noon type thing or something, or I don't know, but it's definitely like like a good, bad, the ugly about to happen.
Yeah. So he sets up the meeting with Stan Edgar, and then we go back to the marketing lady's apartment where she's babysitting Ryan, Homelander's son, and they walk in, and she's twirling her hair, freaking out about how much fun they've had. It's a very odd side note that she's pulling all her hair out.
Yes.
Going bald.
I don't know what that's all about. And also that it's funny that she loves the show Cats.
Yes.
You figure she'd be, because she's got to
finding all the names of the cats.
in the Broadway show Cats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so she's pulling her hair out. Ryan's sitting there listing all 50 states in alphabetical and geographical order, which is very odd to me.
That's his calming thing for some reason.
Yeah. So Homelander's trying to convince him that, your mom's got some cute sayings and all, but you don't need her. And Ryan wants to give her a phone call, and Homelander's like, we're not going to do that. And then Stormfront steps in and says, it's being cooped up here all day. That's got to stink. So why don't we take a little field trip? So they leave the apartment and they go to Planet Vought, which is obviously a Planet Hollywood type spoof, where they walk in and Ryan's all taken aback by all the Seven stuff and Homelander dolls and everything. And they sit down and Ryan's feeling like a VIP when all these people start obviously coming up and recognizing him. So Stormfront's trying to get Ryan all caught up in the celebrity of it all, like his dad. They're
the kid's never been around anybody. He's never been around anybody. So let alone a huge crowd.
Yeah, just his mother. So obviously this large crowd starts to freak him out a little bit. Homelander picks him up, takes him out, flies him away to get him out of there. And so, we move on, I guess. Not a lot in that scene. We're back in the car. Huey and Starlight are talking. This is where we find out about the Billy Joel stuff. Why his mom left when he was 6. And which is kind of an intriguing mystery. I wonder why she left. We do know who Stewie's father is. It was Simon Pegg last season. The last time we saw him, he was in witness protection. But
so
anyway,
they might come back at some point. I don't know.
He might come back into it. But then all of a sudden,
or maybe it's just a reason for him to stick to itness of Huey.
Yeah,
he doesn't give up. Maybe just give it a storyline for that. But then A-Train shows up.
Yeah, A-Train right in the back of the car. And they freak out, jump out of the car. A-Train's like, "Hey, easy." Huey's like, "Hey, I saved your life," and he's like, "Well, now we're even." So, A-Train has stolen some PDR, some private detective information that they have on Stormfront from the Church of the Collective. It's basically everything that ties her to the Nazis and Vought. And of
course, A-Train can find Starlight so quickly, but nobody can find her.
Right.
All the intelligence agencies out there, no one can find her. But he says, I just go through.
I mean, it does make sense. He's super fast,
but still, there's so many people everywhere,
and they're running around the burrows. I know. It's superhero. It's cause superhero. Yeah. So now we're in a very key scene. Stan Edgar and Billy Butcher are meeting up in a restaurant. Butcher gets frisked, and Stan offers him some hors d'oeuvres, and he's like, "Nah, you got snipers on me. Let's just cut to the chase." Which now is my scene. This one scene has been bothering me the entire time. They're talking. He's like, "Let's cut to the chase." You mentioned on the phone you could help with Homelander's son, and then the server comes over, and they cut to a very tight shot of Stan Edgar's glass, and his glasses are laying there, and you see the server pick up a lime and squeeze it into his water glass.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I do remember. I mean, I did, because I didn't notice that, but I noticed, like, why is this server? Because this is supposed to be a top secret meeting, so I thought maybe she was a spy or something.
Right.
But I didn't notice the lime thing.
The lime thing and the water looks super cloudy, and so I at first I thought, well, maybe he is drinking Fresca, but he needs some lime in it to make it taste good,
tolerable. Yeah.
Or is there something in the lime that perhaps gives him some compound V? Or I got on.
You got hung up on that, and then
I went down one of your patented rabbit holes on the internet.
Oh, you did?
Yes, and I was reading about how the Congresswoman could have killed all of those people, and they were saying that she could manipulate carbon dioxide, which there's a lot of CO2 inside of a drink like Fresca, but lime, there have been scientific studies. Yes, lime neutral when it's put into salt water or something. They've done real life studies that it will help reduce CO2. So,
you might know that. That's real deep.
Yeah, it's real deep, man. It's a real deep rabbit hole. But Stan might know
I'll show that. Yeah,
that. Because obviously I think she's in Vaught's pocket somehow.
Somehow. Don't know exactly how that's playing out.
She's connected to Vought.
He also has a good rant where he says, "I can't lash out like some raging entitled maniac. That's a white man's luxury."
Yes.
Because he's obviously he knows that she's a Nazi and hates black people, and he's still like,
but he's having to play the game along because it's all about business.
All about business. It has always been, or whatever. Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything to the lime thing, but I thought it was interesting.
Good rabbit hole
that they took the time to on something that seems so insignificant. I mean, people put lemon in their tea and water all the time. It's not a big deal, but why would they do that close-in shot? Just to show us that the lime was being squirted into his drink. But
good catch.
Moving on, we have Butcher here making a deal with Stan, saying, "I will get you Homelander's son, but I'm keeping my wife." And there's some negotiation back and forth. Stan's like, well, we need your Becca because we want the kid to be raised
by the mother.
By the mother, so it doesn't turn out like Homelander. But Butcher's very insistent that he can play Becca by saying, it's better that he's with Vought. He'll be safer if you're not with him. Yeah. And then Stan's like, wow, you really are ruthless as I am. So it's a great scene. Giancarlo Esposito is just the perfect villain.
He is.
I love that guy. He's just great. Yeah. So we go from that scene on to the next, where we have Homelander, who's at the cabin that he likes to go to get away. And that's where he took Ryan when he was scared. We got Stormfront. She shows up, and they're trying to get Ryan calmed down. And they also want to show him how to use his heat vision.
Right.
So,
on a little doll of the deep.
Yeah,
of the deep. Or a toy of the deep, yeah.
And Ryan can't do it because basically it's triggered by hate. So we go to that scene. Now we're back.
And it looks like, and it does kind of look like there's two things. It does seem like Homelander loves him in a way.
Yes.
Like a weird way.
Yeah.
And he also gives the look to like Stormfront, Stormfront, when she's going on her Nazi rant. He's kind of like, okay, like whatever, lady.
Yeah, you're right. And Homelander's like sitting there on the couch with Ryan, and he's trying to tell him, how difficult it was for him growing up as a boy. He's really trying to be a dad to Ryan and kind of comfort him after being so scared. But Ryan just wants to talk to his mom, really. So we're back at the pawn shop, and Huey and Starlight show up with the file that A-Train gave them, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is it. We can do it. So they're still planning their little attack. They're, I have a little montage.
I did not like the trope with Butcher and the wife over, you ain't coming with us. I mean, that is just overdone. The argument, and then right from there it goes to like, Kimiko, what if I freeze? I mean, both that whole thing, wipe out both those segments.
Wasted time. We don't need it. The only important thing here is Becca makes Butcher promise on Lenny, his son. I swear I will take care of Ryan.
Lenny's brother. Butcher's brother.
Yeah, Butcher's brother. He's swearing on that he will, because Becca knows that Butcher doesn't care too much for Ryan because he sees him as just a bastard son. Yeah, he hates all soup. So, we got Kimiko. She's worried about freezing up. So then we actually get to the scene where Ryan's doing the X-ray.
On the deep. Yeah. The white genocide and all that stuff.
Yeah. So then we're in the woods, and Frenchie and Kimiko are setting up sonic transmitters to distract Homelander as part of their plan. And by this time, it's important that Stormfront gets an alert on her phone that the information about her being linked to the Nazis is now at the mainstream media. Everyone's talking about it. So she takes off and flies to the tower, getting her away from the cabin.
The boys.
And then, the boys a chance to get to the cabin because Homelander hears that loud...
which only superheroes can hear, I assume.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, because none of the other people have headphones on.
That's true.
Only Homelander and the boy.
That's
right.
They
put headphones on the boy. And so I'm assuming it's
it's some sort of sonic emitter thing.
It might be the only Homelander can hear it. I don't even know if all Supes can hear it.
Definitely
the only one it affects is Homelander and the kid.
Yeah, which is, this is something that in the comic books, again, this is satire in the comic books. It's one of Superman's weaknesses. They can take him out with sonic because he's got super hearing.
The old ones, they overreacted, like the Christopher Reeve episode.
Yes. So
then the worst line is I hated was when the kid asked the mom who Butcher is. She goes, "That's my husband."
Yeah.
Yes, shut up.
Yeah. It was kind of.
It's not your dad. It's your husband. But we're just. Then he's got to be like, the hell? You never told me about a husband?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a terrible thing to tell a kid at that moment. Just,
it's just he's already scared. He's had trouble
you just throw that in there.
thinking because he's wearing noise canceling headphones, and you're like, yeah, that's my husband. We got to go with him, and you should trust him. I know he's holding a semi-automatic weapon, but you should trust him. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So Homelander leaves. Obviously, he's checking out the sonic emitters. He blows them up with his heat vision, and he's looking around. He's like, "Who did this? What the heck?" We're back at the little bunker area where they're set up their home base for this little attack to steal Ryan. And Butcher comes clean about the deal he made with Stan. But he says, I'm not going through with it, Becca. I want you to take Ryan and go with Mother's Milk. And he's going to get you to Mallory in the CIA to keep him safe. I'm going after Homelander. And then, of course, there's that whole back and forth of, no, you can't do it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. That whole relationship was bothersome.
It was because they didn't really flesh it out, and not super believable, but anyway, we're back at the cabin, and Butcher has left the cell phone there for the Vought strike team to move in. So they breach the cabin. They're in there. Homelander comes back. He finds them, and he's like, "Where's my son?" Closes the door, and then starts basically heat visioning every guy in there. Yeah,
and then which leads to another thing that's been going on throughout the movie is the blood on someone's face.
Yeah,
usually it's Huey's.
Yeah, but he completely covered in blood because he's just blowing these guys up, which
for no real reason it appears. Yeah, but he just lost his mind.
Yeah, so we're back at that little bunker area where Mother's Milk is driving away. It's a very emotional moment, and Becca looks back, and then all of a sudden, Stormfront lands. The lightning hits the car, which goes flying 40 feet in the air and rolls probably 7 or 8 times.
And everybody's okay.
And everybody's screaming in slow motion like, no! So Butcher runs over to the car to make sure everybody's all right. Starlight, Kamiko, and Huey and Frenchie all go to confront Stormfront. Stormfront's calling Starlight all these names and denying everything, which is weird because why even deny it to these people who you're about to kill? There's no media there. There's nobody to. Why are you?
Makes no sense. I mean, she's clinging on for hope, I guess. And the line of the day is going to stick her boot up your Nazi kitty. Yes. That is the line of the day by Frenchie.
So Butcher's over at the car. He's pries the door open, and Mother's Milk and Becca get out unscathed after that. And Becca's like, oh, my gosh, Ryan, apparently forgetting that he's this indestructible son of Homelander. Like, oh, my gosh, is he okay? Of course he's okay. He's a superhero and son of the most powerful guy on the planet.
That might be the one thing that can kill him. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. She hasn't seen him use, but she hasn't seen him use any powers. Maybe that's it. So she's not
with, maybe she doesn't know the full extent of it.
Whatever.
But anyway, she's just like, is Ryan okay? Of course he's okay. Why wouldn't he be okay? So they get Ryan out of the car. And Mother's Milk tells Butcher to get Becca and Ryan out of there, so they go running off into the woods while everybody's confronting Stormfront. Kamiko makes her little kitty remark, and then all of a sudden we got a nice fight scene with Kamiko and Stormfront and Starlight, Huey and Frenchie. Yeah, we got to go get the RPG, just super loud. And then Stormfront's like, oh, you have an RPG. Well, let me go blow it up. It was such a dumb thing.
It was a dumb thing. Plus, I don't even know if it would work on her.
Right. We don't know if it would work. I mean, Frenchie's...
Because they tried and then they tried shooting her, of course, and all that.
Yeah, they tried shooting her, and Kamiko's just like rage punching her and everything. And then Stormfront snaps Kamiko's neck.
Yeah.
And then,
or so we think.
Or so we think. And then the guys just start opening fire, thinking, oh, well, bullets will stop her. If these typical soups couldn't take her down, we'll just unload a couple of clips. She electrocutes them all. Starlight gets up, and she's like real mad and does absolutely nothing. Then we see Kamiko snap her neck back into place. And then guess who comes out of nowhere to save
Brave
the
Maeve.
day? Yeah, Brave Maeve comes in and grabs Stormfront. And then we get a weird scene of just the three good superheroes kicking
Stomping.
Stormfront. Yeah, just kicking her.
This reminds me of you know how they make fun of on Superman or something when people shoot Superman and they throw the gun at him and he ducks.
Yes, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that because they have all these superhero powers and all they're doing is punching and kicking.
Yeah, let's just kick it. Yeah, let's just kick
it seems like there has to be a better way. You all have these powers. All you can do is punch and kick.
Right, and you're not doing anything to like restrain her or capture her or anything.
And she can take bullets, so of course she can take punching and kicking.
Yeah, and so you get the funny line of Frenchie go, "Wow, girls really can get it done."
A reference to the movie earlier.
Yeah, but
anyway.
Stormfront takes off, and they're all standing there looking up like, oh man, maybe we should have done something other than just kick her because she escaped.
That was horrible.
Yeah, just it was kind of silly. But Homelander walks out of the cabin. He's covered in blood. His perfect hair is all slicked back with blood. Then he flies off. Stormfront finds Butcher, Becca, and Ryan in the woods. Somehow Stormfront is just amazing at finding people.
I know.
She found them at the bunker, and now she's found them in the woods.
But you could never find Storm or Starlight.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, we're nitpicking. So she approaches Becca. Becca takes a knife that she was holding and jabs it in her eye socket, to which Stormfront picks her up against a tree, starts choking her. Butcher unloads a clip with his gun, and then stupidly runs up and just starts hitting her with a crowbar probably 50 times while Stormfront's monologuing about her plans and all of this. And Butcher, come on, man. What are you doing? Why are you
wasting your bullets?
Yeah, why you waste your bullets? And after the first, 50 wails of your crowbar, maybe you try something else. I don't know.
Try something else, anything else.
I know he was trying to, distract her from
and hope to come after him. Yeah.
But
okay.
Anyway, again, we're nitpicking. Ryan's sitting there watching his mother get strangled by Stormfront. He's getting angry, and that's a callback to an earlier scene where they're trying to teach him about his heat vision and how you should use anger and hate. And he's like, I don't hate anybody. Well, I hate this woman who's choking my mom.
Which is weird because now it's hate. It brings out hate against hate. So the ultimate power of hate is used against the biggest hater, like the biggest hate group.
Yes.
So there's some irony in that.
So hate on hate.
She was teaching him, she's teaching him, you got to learn hate. You got to learn hate. So he learns hate and kills her with it.
Yeah. And ironically, when he does shoot his heat vision, much like his dad, he takes out an innocent victim when he's taking down a terrorist. That's a callback to earlier episode where Homelander lands in some African country, kills the superhero terrorist, but also kills an innocent boy by slicing her with his heat vision. So apparently heat vision not very precise. And
although he did chop a guy in half perfectly.
And somehow managed to cut off Stormfront's both her arms and both her legs.
Yes. So it was controlled to a point.
Right.
And how and her face melted.
Yeah, and part of her face, but like her torso and all that seems to be okay. So I'm not really sure how that worked.
Yeah, but it was funny because it was humorous gore because she's just speaking in German now.
She's laying there.
I did not look up what she's saying, but
I did look up what she said. She's talking. She's doing that thing. It's a trope where. When someone's dying or in shock, they start thinking about a happy memory, and she's spouting off about a memory with Frederick Vaught and her daughter Adele sitting under an apple tree. So if you were wondering what she was saying in German. Then Butcher runs over and is, doing the whole last second death of Becca, and she's like, tell him it's not his fault. It's not his fault, and blah blah blah. You make sure he knows.
And they had to do that, but it just
Yeah,
So
it's one of
tropey.
those. Yeah, it's one of those scenes. You promise me you'll keep him safe, and
Yeah.
he promises. But he stands up after she dies with the crowbar, and he's pissed off. And
Looks like you're going to kill the kid.
yeah,
They
he looks
imply
like
that he's about to go get the kid.
yeah. He looks like he's like, you just killed my wife, and I hate soups and blah blah blah. But then we see an shadow of Homelander landing. He's covered in blood. He's seeing what's going on. He's crying over Stormfront, and then he turns his
weird,
attention. Yeah,
you didn't think he had that deep of feelings. He even sick. They
Right.
set it up though because he said earlier in the episode, "I cried once when I was, but I'm a man now. I don't cry anymore."
Yeah. But he's crying over Stormfront, and then he looks over at his son, and he's like, "Come here, Ryan. Ryan, come here." Ryan walks over and stands behind Butcher, who's standing there holding a crowbar. And Homelander starts laughing, like, "Really, dude? You're going to get me with a crowbar?" Yeah. And then he's like, "Are you going to stand up for this kid that just murdered your wife? Are you really going to get blown up for that?" And apparently Butcher is. But then guess who shows up again to save the day out of nowhere?
Out of nowhere. She's been like the greatest character
I know.
Out of nowhere.
Last episode, she showed up out of nowhere to save Starlight at the tower. I mean, she just kind of is everywhere. But she shows up and threatens Homelander with the footage from the airplane and says, if you don't leave everyone alone, I'm going to release this. And he's like, well, it'll take you down. She's like, I don't care. But then Homelander hears the chants of Homelander, and of course his ego kicks in, and he can't allow himself to be hated by the public. So
the most important thing to him is his image.
So he ends up letting him go, which again, this was foreshadowed earlier when he and Stormfront were in the tower, and she was talking about all of that going away, and he just couldn't allow that. He needs it. So. We go to a press conference with Stan Edgar where he's talking about the unfortunate death of Stormfront and how she turned on everybody.
No, they didn't say death. I think they said she's in jail or something.
Oh yeah, she's not dead.
Somewhere.
That's right. She's being held. She's being held somewhere in an undisclosed location, and they're ceasing the production of Compound V. And then he calls over Homelander, who, gives one of his bull speeches, and he apologizes.
Him back into the 7 and stuff.
Apologizes to Starlight and says, I couldn't have two better friends. Meanwhile, they both absolutely
hate each other.
Yeah. So they do a weird shot into his eyes as he's talking, and I'm not really sure. Like, as he's saying all this, there's like a ringing in his ears, and they do a real tight close in on Homelander's
I wonder if
eyes.
Maybe some leftover pain from the sound or something will come out later or something. I don't know.
It was very, very strange. So anyway, we cut back. We're in Alistair's office with A-Train and the Deep, and Alistair's got some great news. One of them's getting back into the 7. He's like, someone broke into our PDR, and A-Train's like, I don't know what you're talking about. The private data reserve? What is that? But Alistair's impressed by this, or so he says. He says it's
he's
initiative.
Not really.
And of course the Deep turns on him immediately. Like, I don't know this guy. Bleep
Chase
him.
Crawford is great. Chase Crawford has placed this so great.
Yeah. So anyway, Vought needs, of course, now to take an anti-Nazi stance, so they need
a black guy.
Yeah, got to get the black guy back into the 7 in order to look like, hey, we're not like that. So,
and I love the Deep's line and the way Chase Crawford delivers it is about like, hey, I hate Nazis. Because he wants I know he hates. I hate Nazis. I come in.
I hate him too. Like a kid, basically. I like cake too.
Because he sides on everything. He flips sides all throughout the episode. That's his thing.
Yeah,
whatever side's gonna get him.
Yeah, he flipped on the Archer, and he'll flip on anybody just to get back. Yeah. He just wants back in the 7. So A-Train's like, peace out. I'm out of here. See you guys later. And then Deep starts throwing a tantrum. He's like, I signed over my bank account to you. I did everything you asked.
Married this
He's
person.
like, I bought into your stupid we're all spores theory. You gave me this wife who gives terrible
BJs.
sex. Yeah. And Alistair's like, you're being a toxic personality. I think you should leave, Deep. So
yeah, so he's kicked out of the church.
Yeah, he's basically excommunicated at this point. We're back. We're back with Starlight and Huey. They're sitting on the park bench.
Scene. Awful scene.
It is an awful scene. Huey's giving this little speech about how he needs to stand on his own, but that doesn't mean he won't cling Starlight. Scene. Yeah. Their chemistry to me is not that convincing.
Very awkward. Not convincing at all.
Yeah, it I don't know. There's just something about it. Their kiss, their whole
it doesn't be together. There's no chemistry.
Yeah. It doesn't work for me. But anyway, we go on. We're sitting next to a lake now with Billy and Ryan. They're sitting staring off. Like. Yeah. They're staring off, and Ryan says, I'm scared. So Billy gives him a necklace of St. Christopher that Becca gave to him to protect him when he went into the CIA. Yeah. And so he gives that to Ryan.
There was a whole stretch of time there that I could have done without.
Yeah. The
whole clingy the scene on the park bench and the whole thing by the pond. I could do without any of that.
Yeah. But Mallory from the CIA, she shows up and to pick up Ryan, and Homelander tells him, don't be a jerk. That's my advice to you, kid. Now get in the SUV. Excuse me.
And why does that kid not have a chip in him? I guess the God has
exactly. Yeah, maybe. Anyway. Yeah. Exactly.
That was a deal maybe they made some point, but whatever.
Well, the Congresswoman has given new funding to Mallory to start another Black Ops team to keep a track of the soups. And she
legal Black Ops on the books.
Yeah, on the books. Yeah. She gave her off the books money to
So he wants him to join a government agency.
Yeah. And Billy just doesn't say anything. He puts on his sunglasses and walks away.
David Crusoe CSI move.
As the Beach Boys, God Only Knows, starts playing. So he walks away. Mallory gets in the car. Mother's Milk gets to go home to his family now, apparently, because all the crimes that the boys were accused of have been dropped. And
legal and illegal and otherwise, yes.
Apparently, they don't think that his family's in danger anymore. Because they were put in a safe house in season 1 along with Huey's dad.
That's true.
Huey doesn't reunite with his dad for some reason. Maybe Simon Pegg had a filming.
Probably. He's too big.
He's probably doing something else. But then we have Kamiko and Frenchie during this whole montage. They're dancing. You can see their relationship.
I know this is a whole rap thing, but it just is.
It's a little silly. Because then we get to this weird scene where, which is obviously a spoof of The Dark Knight, where Christian Bale's standing up on top of the highest building, looking out over the city. But instead we have Homelander there jerking it,
which is weird, very weird,
very strange.
But it's definitely like he is a god, or he thinks he's a god.
He's like, I can do anything I want. It's like,
and of course it's the only and I guess the masturbation is part of. He's the only one who loves himself. He loves him. Like they even tried to have him had sex with himself with the shapeshifter guy. Remember?
Right.
So
but he killed that guy.
Dude, he is the one who he's the only one who loves himself so much.
Yeah. He's 100% alone at this point. He has nobody left. So I guess you're right. It's just a very weird way to show.
Yeah, it seems. It is weird.
So we cut back to the Church of the Collective, and Alistair's on the phone with the Congresswoman, basically saying, it was our intel that got you what you wanted. How about you scratch my back now and give us some tax exemption? And she's like, oh, of course, we'll set something up. Call my assistant. So she's walking along. Alistair hangs up the phone. He's all pleased with himself. He opens his Fresca, and boom, there goes his head.
Yeah, it was good. Nice.
Yeah, and so we cut to outside, and it's the Congresswoman. Surprise!
Surprise!
She's staring at the window. Her eyes turn white, and so obviously she's the one that's been exploding everybody's head. And So that was the big twist reveal, I guess.
Big twist reveal, yes. So she's going to do anything.
Yeah.
To get what she wants.
Yeah.
Which we're not sure what exactly the end game for her is. Do we?
Yeah.
Do you think?
we don't know. I still think she's in bed with Vought.
Right.
And working.
Maybe she has good intentions, but we'll do whatever it takes to get her good intentions done. I don't know.
We don't know because obviously the creator of this show is showing us that he hates all politicians.
Yeah. Even the one who seems to be, because he takes down the conservatives, he takes down the liberals. I'm using quoting fingers and all that. Yeah.
He hates politicians.
He says they're all basically he's showing that they're all in it. They'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
To get what they want done.
They're all corrupt, which on a personal note, I subscribe to. But anyway, we're back at her headquarters, her campaign headquarters, and Huey's there and wants a job. So she's like, okay, well, when can you start? And that's where we end the episode and the season with her closing the door with Huey in the office.
So it seems to me, if I had to predict, it's Huey's going to uncover that she's the head blower upper person.
Yes.
And have to get the boys back together again.
Yeah. Looking ahead to next season, I think everyone they'll reunite everybody because Huey will be the guy who finds out what's going on as he's standing on his own 2 feet. Is that
Billy Joel?
Is it?
I don't know. I just thought about it just now because they kept saying standing on my own 2 feet over and over again. And it made me think that maybe it's a Billy Joel reference or something.
It could be. It could be. So, but I still think that the Congresswoman is working with Vought because obviously in real life, politicians and big pharma are often in each other's pockets. So I think there's also a theory out there that Stan Edgar is taking Compound V. And that is why he's not afraid of Homelander at all.
And no one's ever gotten to him.
Yeah, no one's ever gotten to him. I still wonder about that lime scene. I don't know if I'm just obsessing over a small detail that wasn't important at all, but there was the mention of the lime. And I'm wondering if that has something to do with protecting him from the Congresswoman in case she decides to kill him or take him out.
And we still have that girl who's hitchhiking that has the power to blow up heads.
Christy, who has the exact same powers apparently as the Congresswoman.
Yep.
But looking ahead to next season, other than more reveals on what Stan Edgar's got planned and the boys reuniting, I have no idea where they're going.
I don't. But I enjoyed it though.
Yes.
It's a good run.
It was a great season overall.
Just don't take it too seriously or try to be too nitpicky because it's not that kind of show.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of holes there and a lot of things that you are very head-scratching and wondering, well, how did this happen? But you just suspend disbelief and enjoy it for what it is. It's a good action satire TV show, and I can't wait for season 3.
I'm with you. All right, man. We'll get our next show up on the binge soon. We'll have to pick out which one it is.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.